Check this out. It's an old film version of A Tale of Two Cities, the Charles Dickens classic set in revolutionary France. All the clichés of the French Revolution are here. The aristocrat, arrested, imprisoned, sentenced to death, and the Paris mob baying for blood. And the final scene, mounting the scaffold, the guillotine standing by. It's pretty grim stuff, but it's not just fiction. From 1792 to 1794, 16,000 people were guillotined in France. French men and women put to their death by their fellow countrymen.
This nightmarish time was known as the Terror.
But why did it happen? What caused the French Revolution to sink into such extreme violence?
September 1792. A prison, the Conciergerie in central Paris. Inside, a motley collection of priests, aristocrats, royalists. Safe enough under lock and key, they weren't much of a threat. But in the streets of Paris, the crowd was frightened. A Prussian army had invaded France, determined to crush the revolution. Meanwhile, a rumour was spreading that the prisoners here were planning a breakout to join the invading army. And so, the crowd took matters into their own hands. They broke into the conciergerie. They hacked the inmates to pieces. The same thing happened in prisons across Paris. 1,000 men and women massacred in just 5 days.
That was the beginning, but all the killings that followed had the same root cause: fear. A fear that the revolution was under threat.
By 1792, the National Assembly had been renamed. It was now the Convention. It was meant to represent all the people of France, but it was the Paris mob that influenced them the most. And like the mob, the Convention was growing paranoid. It wasn't just the Prussians. In the south, in the west, there were peasant uprisings against the revolution. Royalist conspiracies kept being uncovered. It seemed all the achievements of the past 3 years might sink in a wave of counter-revolution.
And so, in 1793, the Convention set up the Revolutionary Tribunal to try all enemies of the people.
Supporters of the revolution were encouraged to report on their neighbours. The National Guard made the arrests. Not just aristocrats, but artisans, working people, peasants, anyone seen as a threat.
Grace Dalrymple Elliott, an English woman living in Paris, experienced this paranoia at first hand. Every few days, search parties ransacked her house. Then one day, they found a suspicious letter. They brought her before the tribunal.
I went into this awful room. The members all sat along a green table, and a chair was placed facing them. I was much frightened. They asked what was the contents of the letter. I assured him that I did not know, at which one of them said, "It is a conspiracy. I know this woman. She is a royalist."
As it turned out, the letter was full of praise for the revolution. So Grace Elliott was set free. Most others weren't so lucky.
This picture shows the Saint-Lazare prison, 1 year on from the September massacres. Once again, it's chock full of prisoners. But in the centre stands a revolutionary official, reading a roll call of the condemned. Those on the list knew their fate. They'd be taken by tumbrel to the place of execution. It took about 20 minutes, just enough time to say your prayers. An eyewitness described the final scene.
In the middle of the square, the guillotine stands in front of a colossal Statue of Liberty. Beside it, a number of carts with large baskets painted red for the heads and bodies of the victims. The condemned are strapped to a board, which is then tilted horizontal and pushed on grooves into place. Then the knife drops with a heavy fall, and with incredible strength, 2 executioners toss the body into the basket, whilst another throws the head.
Were any of them guilty? Maybe some, a few royalists, plotting the return of the monarchy, but most had been denounced, through jealousy, through fear, through ignorance. Like this man, arrested because there's no rosette pinned to his hat. And this man, arrested for wearing a green coat.
There's one story from Bordeaux of a woman who cried at her husband's execution. They made her sit beneath the blade of the guillotine, his blood dripping down on her. Then they killed her too.
She wasn't with them, so she was against them. That was their logic. As one extremist put it,
I recognise as a patriot only that man who will, if necessary, betray his father, mother and sister, and then drink a glass of their blood on the scaffold.
back in 1789, in the first summer of the Revolution, the National Convention had passed the Declaration of the Rights of Man. Article 2 promised liberty, security, and freedom from oppression. But what was the terror if not the end of liberty and the return of oppression? This time, the oppression of the guillotine. It seemed France had simply exchanged one kind of tyranny for another.